Shoo. The night arrived slowly, covering everything with a mantle of serenity. Outside, the rain begins to fall softly, tapping against the window like a melody made to cradle the heart. Take a deep breath and feel it. There's nothing to solve now, only to allow yourself to rest. Each drop that slides down the glass carries away the rush the day left behind. The body loosens, the mind slows down, and silence finds its voice, whispering, "It's all right." It's in that moment that time stops running and becomes shelter. While the night sings its song of water and silence, a boy opens his diary on the desk. He's in no hurry to write, and you don't need to rush to listen. Close your eyes, get comfortable, and let the rain and the words guide you into calm. The night grew dense, bringing with it a sky heavy with clouds and an expectant silence. The first drops touched the roof timidly, but soon gained strength, forming a steady rhythm. The room filled with that natural music, soft, hypnotic, capable of untying the knots of the mind. By the desk, the dog curled up, breathing slowly, as if it had already found refuge in the night's embrace. The boy watched the dance of raindrops running down the window, each leaving behind a fleeting glow. It was curious how the rain could turn the weight of the day into lightness, as if softly saying, "Don't rush. Everything has its time." That scene was a silent invitation to release his thoughts and let them spill onto the paper. The diary lay open, waiting. And with every passing moment, the sound of water filled more than the house. It filled the heart. There was a serenity that didn't come from outside but bloomed from within, awakened by the rhythm of the rain. The boy breathed deeply, felt the fresh scent of wet earth, and realized he was about to receive a lesson, not from books, but from the clouds themselves. As the diary's pages received the first words, the rain's song set the pace for his writing. No drop rushed to fall, yet together they created a steady, endless symphony. The boy reflected that patience might be exactly that, allowing each moment to come in its own time, without forcing life to unfold. Beside him, the dog sighed in peaceful sleep, as if silently confirming that ancient truth. He remembered how many times he had wished for everything to happen quickly, as if life owed him immediate answers. But before the rain-streaked window, he understood that even nature needs pauses. The rain never releases all its force at once. It respects the rhythm of the earth, which can only absorb drop by drop. Perhaps the human heart is the same, unable to hold all the answers at once. Each falling drop was like an unspoken word, a thought dissolving before it became anxiety. The boy realized the rain didn't just teach how to wait, it taught how to trust. If the clouds know the right moment to release their water, Why couldn't he believe that life also chooses the perfect time to reveal its paths? The diary, his silent companion, recorded not only memories but a discovery. Serenity can grow from time well lived. The rain wasn't just water falling. It was a silent orchestra conducted by the sky itself. The light drops played delicate notes like flutes, while the heavy ones beat on the roof like deep drums. The wind whispered through the trees, completing the melody with long notes, like a violin lingering in the air. The boy closed his eyes for a moment, allowing himself to listen to every detail of that natural symphony. He realized that when the heart is open, even the simplest sound can turn into music. Maybe that's what so many rush days were missing, to stop and listen to what the world has to say. The rain asked for no applause, no recognition. It simply played its song. And even so, it managed to soothe the weary minds of those who stopped to listen. Beside the desk, the dog twitched its ears, as if keeping rhythm with the rain. It was curious how even he seemed calmer when the night was filled with that soft melody. The boy smiled faintly and returned to his diary, certain that some melodies don't need to be written, only felt. The night seemed to speak to him through the rain. Each distant thunder sounded like an ancient memory, and every pause between the drops felt like an invitation to silence. The boy rested his chin on his hand, staring at the blank pages, as if waiting for his heart to whisper the next words. It was as if the darkness outside held secrets that could only be revealed in stillness. He thought about how the mind insists on running just when the body begs for rest. Thoughts race, worries multiply, as if peace were impossible to find. But that night, the rain became a guardian, washing away each anxiety with its steady rhythm. The dog, ever serene, turned on its side and let out a deep sigh, reminding him that sometimes trust is simply surrendering to rest. The stars, hidden behind the clouds, seemed to shine only in his imagination. But that invisible light was enough to remind him he wasn't alone. The whole sky, though unseen, moved with his breath. Each heartbeat echoed with the rhythm of the rain, forming an intimate dialogue between the outer world and his inner life. The diary, now sprinkled with words, became the mirror of that quiet encounter. The rain no longer fell as strongly, but it still covered the night with a steady sound, like a blanket made of water and wind. Inside the room, the air was warm, and the boy felt that sound wrapping around everything. The walls, the sleeping dog, his own heart. It was like an invisible embrace from the world, reminding him that even in the quietest hours, we are never truly alone. He looked at the fogged-up window and traced a small circle with his finger, seeing his own blurred reflection mingle with the night. There was comfort in realizing he was part of that scene, so simple, yet so alive. The rain, once distant, now seemed to breathe with him, slow, patient, and kind. The dog let out a soft sound of contentment, stretching before returning to deep sleep. The boy smiled, understanding that peace isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of something that soothes us. And while the world outside kept raining, the room seemed to float in a sweet silence made of calm and tenderness. The storm had already passed, leaving in the air the scent of wet earth and tranquility. The boy closed his diary for a moment and rested his hand on its cover, feeling the lingering warmth of what had been written. Outside, the last drops slid from the eaves like slow goodbyes, and the dog, peaceful, curled into deep sleep, trusting the quiet that the night had finally brought. He realized that patience wasn't empty waiting. It was a fertile space where everything finds its place in due time. Just as the soil absorbs each drop until it becomes fertile, the heart too needs silence to welcome what life offers. The boy understood that serenity doesn't live far away. It's born the moment we stop fighting against life's rhythm and begin to listen to it. Dawn was already slipping through the curtains, and the sound of rain faded into scattered drops. The boy felt that the silence left behind wasn't empty. It was full of promise. The air had changed. It was lighter, as if the night had washed not only the sky, but also his thoughts. Each breath felt new, clean, ready to begin again. The dog stretched lazily, opened its eyes for a moment, then went back to sleep, confident that the day would be calm. The boy looked out the window and saw a faint golden glow breaking through the clouds. It was the sun trying to rise, shyly, as if it too respected the night's rest. He then understood that every storm carries the promise of a new dawn. The diary lay closed on the desk, but what had been written would remain. The lessons of rain, patience, and silence would stay within him, like seeds waiting for the right time to bloom. The boy leaned back in his chair, exhaled peacefully, and felt the quiet certainty that even in the longest nights, light always finds its way back. Then, before going to bed, he whispered softly, "For today, that's all, dear diary." The rain outside was saying its goodbye, leaving behind only the wet silence of the night. The dog sighed deeply, and calm spread like an invisible blanket. Maybe patience is exactly this. Learning to trust that everything arrives in its own time, without hurry, without demand. And you, have you allowed yourself to live at this slower rhythm? Have you tried letting life reveal itself little by little, like the drops running down the glass? Sometimes, all we need is a pause to realize that serenity has always been right beside us. If this story brought peace to your heart, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, You can return whenever you wish to hear new pages from this diary of calm. Until then, rest and let sleep carry away the weight of the day.